Some people's like, well, no, that was the fire department. Let you know this right now. Every person who works at the fire department at this day and time has to become an EMT. They are the first people on the scene, and then you see the ambulance. So your job and the oath that you took that you was gonna provide for the public, no matter if the police station is the people who did the beating up, if that person needs aid, that is your job to give that person aid. You sat there, you looked at them, you didn't do anything. Guess what? You gotta fucking go. Memphis is doing it right. They not sitting here and doing like they did with Eric Gardner, and here we are. We don't go to trial 3 years down the road. They not doing it how we do all this other stuff. Where 2 and 3 years, a year later, now we finally going to trial. Now you finally get suspended once you finally let the video go. It's mighty funny that most police stations, when they feel like they did the right thing, guess when the video released? We get that bitch within 72 hours. Oh, a police officer was killed, but they came at the police with a sword, or they put a gun and pointed at them. Now, when they doing the right thing, we get that video in 48 to 72 hours. Now, when they out here fucking up, we gotta wait a year later. What they gonna do is an investigation. It take that damn long. We see it on video. Why does it take a year for that to come out?
Edit it.
Memphis is doing it right, so they can edit it and do whatever. And to be honest with you, what Memphis put out, they said it's more than that. We just whatever the public can tolerate is what we sending out and what we showing to y'all. But this how bad it was. We have edited some things out so the public don't have to see it. But what you seeing is pretty damn bad already.
And I don't even want to. And if you know anything about editing, and if you could look at the young man, I don't even want to just create that graphic image. But if you could look at the videos and see when the light pole, and then when they get back on the cop that actually had the last camera angle on him, as EMT is sitting there with either like paperwork or something of that nature, you could tell that he looks completely different from when they had stopped the video, and I'm pretty sure they had edited. And the last thing you seen was when they had pulled him up against the police car, was telling him to sit up. He looked gradually different. So I knew for a fact, watching it live, that there was edits, because he went from just looking normal to it was drastic, and you could tell that he wasn't even conscious. So I'm gonna leave it at that, because like I said, that's terrible to even realize that, that's his last moments of his family and everybody seeing him alive. But like when you think about just what I got from it, it wasn't the single mothers. It was just, even though that was 5 black men, and for them to try to paint it out as, she wasn't doing the right thing, it's crazy that even though, regardless of the color, we're still saying, that's because they were black, they moving so fast. And it's like, shouldn't you salute a black woman that if she was raised by a single, are you saluting her or what? Because and now if she'd have made the wrong judgment and took the side, I could see where you could make that point, because, hey, she was raised that way, so she may be.
You can't make that point if she made the wrong decision. There's too many single black mothers out here that raised so much greatness in this world. You can't put that at one point in time. You are an adult and you make your own decisions. You can't even, if she made the wrong decision, you can't even make that point.
But I guess I'm saying she's trying to sympathize or over sympathize, and seeing that these are 5 young black men, and I can see maybe this is what happened, and you're judging it, and then you're finding little holes, but she didn't. So it's like I didn't get the point. But the back to the point is like, what I see in this whole issue is that, again, like before we even seen the video, and we dropped the one last week, is that it's just a lack of respect that we have amongst each other, and that just doesn't change. So honestly speaking, the only difference visually is that what caught everyone's attention was that you seen the 5 police officers, but when you look at the regular mug shots, that's typically what you would see in everyday cities across America, what that looks like in our community. And that's just the harsh reality that we all got to live with. You take the police vest off of them and the suits, you see this happen pretty frequent. Like that's what we need to be finding resolutions to. Like, you could try to find everything. So for anybody that has a lot to say, I think that's the most important part, is like, why doesn't this catch our attention without the suits involved? Why isn't it of importance without the suits involved? Why does it have to be somebody of a different ethnicity before we start to say, hey, we have a real issue? And the only thing I could really come from is that, it has to be a proactive approach, regardless if it is cops involved. And I feel like we get the batter in our back by the media because they spin it, they drop it at prime time hours. They have the whole setup to where America's watching. But who's watching the hood? Who's watching the neighborhoods that we're actively involved in and go out and patronize businesses in? Like, do we find this as that of that type of importance? Like, if you're gonna take the Jason Whitlock approach, what resolution do you have? Like, that's how I look at it. Is like, quit using these platforms to, pander to your people that you want to, line your pockets with advertisement. That was a perfect opportunity for you to really put it back in our lap to say, why don't we see this? See these 5 black men arrested on a normal day without them being police officers, and realize that we still need to be in the cities and marching for the same cause. Because that's what it's going to take, because they're not going to fix it. They're going to lock our ass up pretty fast, regardless of what you do or what profession. But what are we going to do as a resolution? We understand the problem, but what fixes it? It ain't no one night thing. It's, at the end of the day, we got to start somewhere with it. So that really pissed me off. I'm thinking he gonna come with some fire, because I done heard some stuff that he said and some guests. It was the wrong person. It was somebody to gaslight. But yeah,
if you gonna come with that, it'd been good for him to come with a resolution and say, you know what, due to this, I'm gonna make sure that I grab some single some black boys that's raised by single black mothers in Nashville. I'm gonna go through the hood and I'm gonna link up with Gideon's army and try to put together something for these black men and these black boys within the Nashville neighborhood and see what we can do. However, I'm not saying he don't do that, but I will say this. If he was doing that, I've been unheard about it by now.
And you would be proud to speak on it because you would be a part of the resolution. You can't really just throw rocks at me and say, exactly. So it's like, that was, to me, I'm looking at it like, if you're using that platform, if you're going to step on that stage, please come with some facts, because there are people within any city that could be impacted by it. You could have highlighted that, like New Era, Detroit. It's people down here, it's like a lot of things that you could have used as an example of, hey, this is traumatic. My respect goes out to the family. I think this goes into what some of the things that I've spoke about, is that we lack respect as black men. These are the type of things that we should be doing. But you gaslight and fit into the whole little narrative of whatever little plight that you have to try to say that about single black women. And I get it, but that's distasteful. So I had to speak on the disrespect, because I can't just let that slide. I got that one too many times in the inbox on Supremely Black and personally. We had to address that. That was ignorant.
I got folks texting me, hey, your boy, that's your friend, ain't it? That's your friend. I'm like, come on. But that's enough airtime for him. But this Scorpion crew that they have has been dismantled. They under fire again for breaking somebody's ribs. I think somebody else came forward and said they got treated bad one time and they was able to survive a situation and go home the same night. So any police station that has a crew like this, I remember a long time ago we had made a conversation on one of our shows, and the topic that came up about these police gangs. Well, Scorpion crew can be considered as a gang. There's a lot of other police stations where they have something similar to a Scorpion crew, but these people have other skin and they got tattoos and everything else for beating up or killing unarmed. I'm not just gonna say just black people, but people of color, and sometimes it's not people of color, just to get in this game at the police station. So I think somebody had came with a great idea in our secret group, D Rose, where it said the FBI or the TVI or whatever that state Bureau investigation need to do like a secret shopper, and one of those people be pulled over by the police, maybe speed a little bit and see exactly how they are being treated, and that'll be some type of quota for the police, so they can get that type of feedback and say, hey, this police officer stopped me, some type of quality control amongst police stations or whatnot, which is not a bad idea. I'm not gonna say it's gonna end all of this, but it's not a bad idea if they would try that and to see how their police officers are doing or whatnot. But these gang units and these police stations got to stop. There are rumors going around that some of these officers